With this video, I'm trying to give some clarity and skills with percent increase and decrease. When you talk about increasing or decreasing, you're talking about a change, and sometimes it's not helpful to just look at the change. You need a little bit more information. Here's an example. With our graph here, we're looking at the amount of gravel that was moved by a company on Monday and Tuesday. And it looks like on Monday they moved 200 pounds, and on Tuesday they moved 400 pounds. Well, that's a change of 200. And you'd also say, well, they moved twice as much as they did before. So the twice as much as they did before gives you more information than just a change of 200. Here's what I mean. Suppose that the graph looks more like this. Monday and Tuesday. Well, that's still a change of 200, okay? But it's not as drastic a change as when it was from 200 to 400. Now it's from 1800 to 2000. So simply saying that we increased by 200 doesn't give you much information. If you say we increased from 200 to 400, that tells you a lot more than just we increased by 200, or if we changed from 1800 to 2000. So what we're looking at here is this idea. If we look back at the change here, I want to know, how does the change compare to what it started with? Okay, well, the amount of change was equal to the previous day. We actually had a 100% increase on this. If I look back, though, at when this was at 1800 and this one was at 2000, that's certainly not a 100% change. What we'll be looking at is, how does this amount of change right here compare to the original? Well, it was 200 out of 1800. That's not a big change. And what we'll do is say, let's look at that change as a percent. Okay. So on this screen, we're looking at several different changes, and we're asking, what's the percent increase or decrease? With this first one, from 80 to 100, we're going to look at it this way. It changed by 20 from 80 to 200, 80 to 100. So it changed by 20. How does 20 compare with 80? Well, it's a fourth of it, or 25%. And the way we'll write this is take the change, how much it increased by, and divide it by the original amount, and that will get you 0.25. And we'll call that a 25% increase. Over on problem 2, notice it decreased this time. It went from 80 to 70. Well, how much of a change was that? 10. Okay. And 10, the amount of change divided by the original amount, is 1/8, or 0.125. We'll write that as 12.5% decrease. So what you've noticed is that each time we took the amount of change, we found the difference, we subtracted these two numbers. We wrote that right here. Then we took the original and divided the change by that amount. So I put a set of notes right here. The percent change is always the change divided by the original. And then you'll want to make it a percent, as we did here. We had 0.25, made it 25%. So let's look at problem 3 in that light. Well, the change was from 32 to 28. That was 4. Okay? And the original amount was 32. And 4 divided by 32 is equal to 0.125. And we'll write that as 12.5%. With problem number 4, from 350 to 280, that was this is a decrease. And you can tell that by simply looking at the numbers and saying, well, they went down, not up. So this one is a decrease as well. It decreased by 70 over 350. Okay. How do you find out what percent that is? Divide 70 divided by 350. That is 0.2, which we'll write as a 20% decrease. Well, we're going to go on with more skills of percent change. When you're asked to find the result when 60 is increased by 15%, the first thing we need to do is find out what 15% of 60 is. You'll remember from your previous work that to find the percent of a number, you take the percent as a decimal times the number, and that will get you 9. Okay. So find the result when 6 is increased by 15%. Well, 15% of 60 is 9, so the answer is 69. Second question, find the result when 140 is decreased by 20%. Well, the first thing we need to find out is what is 20% of 140. When you calculate that out, you'll get 28. Okay. So really, we're decreasing 140 by 28. So we'll get 112. Sometimes you'll see people look at this question, these type of questions, and they like to go about it a little quicker. If you take 60 and increase it by 15, basically you're taking 100% of 60 plus 15 more percent of 60. So what some people will say is really we're finding 115% of 60. So they'll take 1.15 times 60, and that gets them the 69 right away. Okay. For the second question, oftentimes they'll look at this and say, well, we're taking 100% of 140 and taking away 20% of it. Well, if you have 100% minus 20%, that's 80%. So they'll simply calculate 80% of 140, and they'll, again, get to 112. Okay. Well, now we're going to look at several examples of using an increase or decrease, percent increase or decrease. A bicycle normally costs $580, but the shop owner agrees to a 20% discount. How much will it cost after the discount? Well, we're essentially asking the same question as we just did. What happens if we take 20% of 580 and take it away? Okay. Well, we need to find out what 20% of 580 is. Okay. 0.2 times 580 is 116. So apparently the discount's going to be $116. So we'll take the cost of the bicycle, 580, subtract off $116, and we'll get 464. So the new price of the bicycle will be 464. Okay. Sometimes you'll get people that will want to go about this way, the way we did before. If you take 100% and take away 20%, that's 80%. So they'll simply calculate 80% of 580. Forgot a zero in there. Okay. And they'll get 116. Nope. They will get 464 right away. Okay. With this problem, the price of a Christmas tree at a large store is normally $88. However, after Christmas, the same tree is being offered for $20. What's the percent discount? Well, on the bicycle problem, we were given the percent discount and asked for the final price. Now we've been given the original and the final price and asked for the percent discount. Well, really this is the same kind of problem we were doing earlier, where we are going from 88 to 20 and asking the percent discount. Well, the change from 88 to 20 is $68. And how does that compare with 88? Well, let's divide and see. 68 divided by 88 equals approximately 77.3%. Here, Sal purchases snacks at a large store to sell to his friends during lunch. He buys packages of cookies for 50 cents, but marks them up by 150% to make money. How much does he sell them for? Well, we need to find out how much he's marking them up and then add that on to 50 cents. So let's first figure out 150% of 50 cents. That'll be done by writing the 150% as a decimal, multiplying it by 0.5, or 0.50 if you prefer, and let's get that calculation done. 1.5 times 0.5, 75 cents. So he's marking them up by 75 cents. How much does he sell them for? Apparently 50 cents plus 75 cents, so $1.25. He's doing all right for himself. Another way you could look at this is to simply say, look, take the 50 cents and recognize the fact that 150% of the price plus 100% of the price is 250% of the price. Multiply 0.5 by 2.5 and you get your $1.25 right away. Here, the owner of a music store sells vintage CDs. He buys CDs for $5 from a dealer and then sells them for $12 each. What is the percent markup? Well, really we're asking, what's the percent increase from 5 to 12? Well, again, percent increase is the change, which is 7, divided by the original, 5. Okay. That gets you 1.4 or 140% markup. Okay? Hopefully that gives you a good introduction anyway to percent increase and decrease.